Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the NLG show. Welcome in on another wonderful Sunday night. And, boys, another good evening. How are you guys?
Howdy,
Good.
howdy.
Good to be on the air again,
Yes,
or
it is.
interwebs.
Right, live on Twitch.
Live.
Live on
Is
Twitch.
it live? Live?
It is.
Let's listen.
So,
20 seconds later, live. Yep,
live, live,
live.
live, 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 live. Remember that night? Remember that night we were, I couldn't, for some reason, my sound was up, and all we kept hearing was, hello, 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 and I had to shut it off.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was horrible. I think Frankie
Yeah.
was here that night.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was horrible. So anyway, um, Peter, you are backwards, by the way. Your
Backwards.
yes, your Washington Nationals cap is mirrored. So
I have no idea why.
I don't either. It's your camera settings that the
Yeah,
work on.
probably. There's something wrong with it. Because, when I just dialed in, it had it correct, and then all of a sudden I see it like flip. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Can you do it on the back end?
I don't know. We could do it later.
Yeah. If I figure it out, I might flip it, but what I can do is just do it like this, and we're all good. There we go.
There we go. All right. So playing the part of Nathan Fisher tonight is his avatar because he'll be in the chat tonight, but he's a little down and out, a little medical issue. We of course wish him nothing but speedy recovery. Should be back with us next week, but really needed to take off tonight, and so we'll use his avatar here. Didn't have enough time to really get anybody to replace him, so we'll just go with us four tonight, and that's fine.
Yep.
And for my fellow Hebrews, happy end of Purim. If anybody does, for you guys, the goyim that do not know what this is called a hamantashen. It is it's actually really good. It's a pastry. It's a dessert pastry that has different kinds of filling in it, and it can be whatever you want. Like the one I've got in my hand is cherry. I got one that's an apricot. My son,
sounds delicious.
my son made them at home at religious school last week, and had like chocolate chip and peanut butter and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, these are really really good. And the significance is there's always a story with the Jews. There's always some story about the Jews being attacked. We're always under siege, and there's always there's always a bad guy, and the bad guy's name is Haman, and he wore a hat that looked like this. So it's like he was like made the grand vizier of the land at one point, and so there's your Bible study for this evening.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Yes, he ended up getting hanged. So, because we don't mess around like that. You attack us, we destroy you. It's just kind of how the Jews work. Anyway, so how you guys doing? on a different note.
No, different. No. It's
So,
Sunday, and
yeah.
weekends are like exhausting. Getting my daughter to all the different things that she wants to do and playground this and that, and it's like, oof, can't wait to start the work week.
Well, try being home with three of them.
Yeah.
3 boys. So, and the 3-year-old is now as chatty as can be. So he just does not stop talking. And somehow, I don't know where he got it from, but my 3-year-old somehow has learned to talk with a British accent. I don't know if he's just been watching me play Kingdom Come Deliverance, but everything's mommy, daddy, mommy, daddy, mommy, and it's like that's all he does now. He is literally becoming Stewie,
Nice.
and he just doesn't stop talking till from the minute he gets up to the minute he goes to sleep. So I feel you, man. It's time to go back to work.
Yeah.
So, and I spent my weekend putting up light fixtures, so that was fun.
Oh, nice.
So,
And you're still sitting there, so I guess it must be partially successful.
well, I have not been electrocuted.
Exactly.
I'm actually not horrible around the house. I do decently. I do decently with handiwork around the house. It's not terrible. So, but anyhow, so I see you've reversed yourself, Peter. You are right.
Yes, I did.
Okay, there you are. The W is correct. So, how are you?
Good.
What have you been doing? What have you been up to?
I mean, we played some cool games. One of them, we did the Sea of Thieves with you, Mike, and Rick Lanisi and Rick's friends.
Jeremy.
Jeremy, yeah, that's easier to say than his Twitter / Gamertag.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, we were having a blast.
That was one of the greatest. Juan, did you get a chance to watch it?
Not the whole thing.
Oh
I was
my God.
catching some of it live, but it looked like what I saw and skimmed through later. It looked pretty good.
Yeah,
We had the greatest adventure ever.
it was. And each time, this is a song my daughter is practicing for a recital, and when I heard the song again, it reminded me of that night. All right, maybe there's a shark in the water. So Rick was each time.
Oh my
"There's
God.
a shark!" Hup, and he jumped in and off he went trying to kill those sharks. That was just hilarious.
If it wasn't that, it was him wanting to sink every ship that was out
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah. I remember like we were stuck to the rim at chests that we dove up and gathered, and it's like we better hand those in and get some gold.
Oh, it was so right.
And he was like, "Oh, there's a ship
Right,
down there."
we came up on this sloop, right? Remember this? The sloop, we decided to let him go, right? Because we had treasure, we wanted to get it back to port. And all of a sudden Rick goes, "Wait a minute. I wasn't paying attention. Was that a ship? Why didn't we go sink it? Let's go get it." I'm like, "Rick, we got to take our treasure home." He was all about it. Was so fun. That 3-ship naval battle, man. I'm telling you, that was the best. That was some of the best work I've ever seen in that game.
Or the one time when the little sloop and us, we just missed each other by a hair, and we sailed really fast, both of us, and it's like, man, that was so cool.
It was, but that was the one that Rick said, "Wait, there was a boat. Let's go get it."
Yeah, that was just awesome.
Rick the Reaver.
Yeah,
Oh my God, he was all about it.
that was the first time he played it, I believe, right?
It was.
So it was like, like a
found-
young puppy, and it's like, oh.
We found sunken treasure. We actually found a ship, dove down, brought back some treasure from there.
Yeah.
What else did we do? We did 2 voyages. We sailed directly into a storm
We did on purpose,
Yep.
on purpose,
That's
and
fun.
we survived.
barely. We kept taking on water and chair. We kept going. There's another hole in the boat. There's another hole in the boat.
He was a good ship repairman, though. He was
He
constantly fixing the holes. By the time I got down there, he was like, "Oh, any holes? No, I fixed them all. Okay, I guess I helped bailing a little bit."
Yep. No, I'm so looking forward to that game. It's going to be pretty special, I think.
Yeah,
There was
absolutely.
there really such a difference, and I know it's supposed to be, but there's such a difference between the alpha and and this pre, the pre-launch stuff.
Right.
I mean, each time the game looks better and better.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks
Graphically,
pretty.
it's like even the water looked better each time, and just everything.
I knew it was going to have a fantastic art style because one of the people responsible for it is the same people behind Viva Pinata, and that still holds up really, really well. So I expect this will as well. For me, I think the big thing is that it's kind of a fresh take on multiplayer where you don't have the level, the light, those requirements, just to be able to pick up and play and have fun with it, regardless of your time put in. Anybody can play with anybody, no having to worry about, well, let me get my alternate character out because I've played ahead of you and I can't play with you with my other character. None of that exists. It's so great.
Right.
It's so different from everything out there now. So yeah, I think it's a really kind of a brave and gutsy move on Rare's part to kind of rethink multiplayer like that. But I love it.
Well, like I said, you got to keep in mind, and I've said this to other people who have, you always hear, well, Rare isn't Rare anymore. Well, this is the game that if you listen to Rare, and you listen to Craig Fulton.
Duncan.
Duncan rather. Sorry, Fulton's from Playground. Craig Duncan. If you listen to Craig Duncan, this is the game they've wanted to make for a long, long time. Like this
Right.
is what they wanted to do, and they got green lit on it. And there's a few of us who, because Worryboard, who's in the chat room, said it today. I've said it before. I cannot envision a scenario where this game does not do well. It has to. It has to do well. It has to. This game has to. It has to deliver. Not just from not from Rare's point of view, but from Xbox gamers' side. They've got to deliver and get this game. And yeah, it's not for everybody. I get that, but it should be for enough people that it becomes one of their top selling first party games.
I don't know how much the Game Pass will hurt it as far as like being called top selling or being able to track the numbers on it, but yeah, I don't even care because if it gets people in there playing, that's what is key.
Yeah, I think we had a little conversation on Twitter about it, and then because it's kind of hard to measure, right? Like numbers sold because of Game Pass, but I think maybe Worldwide brought it up or somebody else. It's like I think like we will hear like concurrent users and how many users have played that game and
we've already seen it go to the top of Twitch, the top of YouTube, the top of Mixer. So I mean, there's definitely an interest out there. It's going to be sweet.
It just needs to be. It just needs to be very heavily supported by the Xbox consumer base.
And that'll come if Rare does a good job, as I expect them to, of supporting the game after launch and keeping content rolling in and keeping
it fresh. Having activities going on.
But there's like 3 different end games planned already, so I don't see any problems there either.
Good. So, Frankie, where are you with Sea of Thieves? 'Cause I don't think you've been in it at all, right?
No, I played it one of the last betas they ran with Brent and Bender, and I loved it. I went and had no idea what to expect, but finally getting in there, playing it, and seeing what that game is changed my mind. So now I'm really excited to snag a Game Pass subscription later this month, check it out, see if it's something that I'll stick with for a while. So pretty excited.
Yeah, I'm going
Game Pass. Game Pass is pretty sweet. I picked up. I had not planned on picking up a Game Pass subscription until after I had been in Sea of Thieves for a while because I'm purposely not canceling my pre-order because I want to support the effort. But they announced Super Lucky's Tale was going into it, and I knew that the Shantae game, and I love Shantae the Half Genie Hero a lot. I knew the Pirate Curse, the older game, was in there, and some other things. So I was like, yeah, I'll bite. I did it, and I did download Super Lucky's Tale, and I don't understand the hate that game got. I mean, I get the timing may have been a little poor with the inevitable comparisons to Super Mario Odyssey, and I gotta say, I was kind of disappointed in Odyssey. It's good, but it didn't blow me away like Galaxy did, and I don't know that it's fair to compare that to this indie developer's first like non-VR effort like that. But it looks great. It plays nice on the 4K. It's pretty unoffensive. I mean, that's kind of kiddie, I mean, if you're looking for AAA, dark, serious, M-rated, realism matter, it's not that. But I think it got a bit of a bum rap.
Well, there's a place for these games. There is a place for those games, because if there wasn't, we wouldn't have had a new Ratchet and Clank. There wouldn't be this rumor running around of a new Spyro. Mm-hmm. So, holy crap! Is that Atari Texas? Is he joining us tonight? I didn't get a chance to say hi to the chat room yet, but Atari Texas, what's up, my friend?
That's nice.
Oh
Hello.
Yeah, and the governor's back.
Governor's here. Yep,
I'd like to see that. Here, so.
Is there a Commodore of Virginia? No.
I see the Beaver Believer made it in. That's good. I already queued it fast.
Yep. Thanks for joining us, guys. And hey, listen, while I'm thinking about it, really quickly, as you see, things are just a little different tonight. We were looking at we were looking at making some changes to see if we can change how to look. I've always wanted to try to kind of make the graphics a little bigger, the images and the video a little bigger, and as I said, we're gonna scale test a little bit tonight ourselves. I've got the Elgato hooked up. We're gonna try a live demo of the Xbox, the new Xbox upcoming spring update, which I got. There's a little bit of issue with it, so we won't dive into everything it does because I don't want it to. For some reason, I can't. If I try to do the activity feed or click on anything in the activity feed, it blanks out. So we'll be a little judicious in how this works, but we want to see if this, with the new computer that I have doing the show here, if it will handle the Elgato better, and if it does, this bodes extremely well for our upcoming live reaction shows to E3 and so on and so forth. So we definitely want your feedback. Please let us know what you think of the view, where the chat is. We are totally open to all suggestions and feedback. Okay. What have you been up to, Juan?
Well, I've been playing a fair amount of still loving the KCD. Mm-hmm. I made some more progress on that. I don't want to spoil anything, but have you guys hung out with Father Godwin yet?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Like total, that did not go as I had thought at all. That was kind of interesting. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, that's interesting.
Did you win the fight?
Yes. Yeah, did win the fight.
Yeah, so
yep. That was all pretty good. The character I've made, I had gone and redone them after I learned when Rick was on that you can beat. I can never remember that dude's name, but the drunk in the tutorial. When I learned that you can beat him, I had to go back and do so. So I re-rolled the character, started all over, went back and just beat him down, single-handedly. And so my new character is like strength and speech. So I'm a swordsman and speechcraft, and I'm terrible with a bow, and just about everything else. But I can do some talking around stuff, and if I have to use a sword, I'm pretty decent with that now. But yeah, I've really been enjoying that. It's so gorgeous. I love the world. I love the immersion I can get in that game. I love Henry's kind of doofy progression. It's just a great game. I'm glad to see it's doing well. I picked up Game Pass, like I was saying, so I've been playing the Shantae's Pirate's Curse. It's every bit as good as Half Genie, just with the kind of pixel art style, but done really well too. And so I've been enjoying that. About a third of the way through that. Picked up. Of course, I had to put Forza Horizon in, but we'll get back to that. That's for a later segment. What else? More stuff. I can't remember now, but yeah.
Monster Hunter.
I just picked up tonight. I just fired up Monster Hunter. I couldn't resist. It looks amazing on the 4K. I'm just way early in it to say, but I like Capcom and I want to support Japanese games on Xbox as well. So there's that. I thought, well, no harm. And plus, I know Frankie here had just made up a new Xbox character, so I'll have someone to show me the ropes because I'm fairly terrible at stuff. So that I got some. I purchased exercise equipment, so we'll see if I can keep it from becoming a clothes rack. But,
you mean like my treadmill over there, which holds up the wall?
Yeah.
We got an elliptical coming in soon, so that way I don't have to I can try to shed some of the tonnage here without having to do it in public.
You're gonna do it on the podcast. We're gonna see.
Nobody wants
new segment.
Nobody wants that in slow mo even. Get the moves out. But
work out with Juan.
With Rod.
With Rod. Work out with Juan. I can't say it that fast.
No. So what else? Oh, played some tabletop this weekend. That was great. I've been out of that for a while because of the work hours and the move and everything else. But finally got back into some tabletop robot stoppy action, and it went terribly for me today. The dice are not my friend. Not that I rolled all that terribly, but all the rolls against me went very well as well. So like, in the first match, I'm in like a medium weight mech, and I got some kind of medium range weaponry, but a lot of it. And if I get close, I can tear someone up. I also have a guy I'm playing with, a buddy of mine on the other side, had a medium weight mech, but he had a different layout. He had one gigantic gun, one huge damn gun, and all I had to do was get close enough past that, like a boxer trying to get in on a heavier hitter. I didn't get in. Yeah, the first shot just cored me right down the center, just took the engine out and shut me down. Like, oh. Had to set the rest of that round out. But we played a couple games. It was fun getting the crew back together. Me doing that more regularly. So yeah, it's been pretty great. A little spread out. I need to kind of pick a game, and I need to get back down to like 2. I need to get 2 games going. I'm probably gonna finish up Shantae real quick because it's not too big, and then make maybe KCD and Monster Hunter my primaries until Sea of Thieves hits.
Cool. And
otherwise, I'll never get anything done.
Well, and it's funny. It's funny because that's going to be one of our new segments tonight. So this kind of plays into that a little bit.
Yep.
So and Frankie, we missed you last week. Were we
Yes.
on? Yeah, we were on last week, but we missed you.
Yeah, you're on last week.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
How's your last couple weeks been?
Not terrible. Still kind of adjusting to this stupid medication I'm on, so it's been up and down,
Well,
But yeah, we ended up going bowling last Sunday, so I don't think we
Nice.
got home until after 9, so was out. But I was feeling pretty crappy last week, and then I don't know, Sunday I was like, yeah, I'll just go out and do something. Just I don't know, I gotta figure out how to function while I'm feeling like crap, I guess. So
shows with your buddies are therapeutic that way.
it's true, it really is, and actually it's kind of cool. I've been talking to Nate most of the week too because I know him and I have some stuff in common with that, and I always feel bad because I'm really bad at talking to people. We talk in the Discord room, but that's it for most of it. So
I understand.
I usually am not social, so I figured, hell, I'll talk to Nate. So
Well, glad. I'm glad. By the way,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, guys, if you see the chat move, I'm just trying to make it. Like I say, we're doing some stuff on the fly, but I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad we're here for you. I mean, we want to be, of course.
yeah. So
Yeah,
outside of that, still just Monster Hunter. That's I can't put that game down. I try and I can't do it. So I bought it on Xbox. I started up my character earlier today before I ran out and did some errands. So I think I'm at a point now where I can finally join other people, kind of. So
nice.
and the Juan has it. Bender picked it up on Xbox. I think he's actually playing that right now. But yeah, so I'm gonna start working on my Xbox Hunter because I'm insane.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I want to help. I might even stream some of that because in the near future, next couple days here, I should have my double upload, my 10 upload speed again, so my streaming capability should be improved.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Jealous.
And I want to give a quick shout to Beaver Believer, Super Cooper, who him and Peter have been filling in some time for us on the Twitch page. Today I replayed it. He did some Lone Echo.
That's the VR game?
Yep. It's Oculus only, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So he's been doing that, which we appreciate, and then you and him, Peter, did Hunt the Showdown.
Yes. Want to play some more? Some patches came out, so hopefully they fix some issues, especially like server issues for joining games and stuff. So
Perfect. So yeah, I really appreciate him jumping in and doing that stuff. And as always, we're still looking for more. People can stream during the afternoon, during the early evenings. We'll take over in the late evenings, of dad time, dad gaming time.
yeah, gaming time.
But everybody else is in bed. So, but yeah, so thank him for doing that, and hopefully we can get you in to do some more as well, and we'll show you some some stuff with the Xbox tonight as far as their what they're going to be doing with streaming as well. So
Yeah, some exciting stuff.
yeah, it's a lot. So, all right, I want to go over a couple of news items before we get into. So, let me preface this disclaim for those who are watching live and are watching later. One of the things that we are trying to do as we kind of even rebuild our look a little bit and some of the stuff that we're working on, we want to be more of a show. Everybody does podcasts now. Everybody on the planet who has a YouTube page and a ability to do Google Hangouts, everybody's doing a podcast of some sort. And so now we're in this crowded market. And some do them extremely, extremely well. And some not so much. But, but everybody's out there and they're doing them. So for us, we've always been about, talking about what's going on in the gaming industry, but now everybody else is talking about what's going on in the gaming industry. So while we still want to talk about what's going on in the game industry, we now also want to morph into something different. Since we're over here, we want to begin talking about things that are more relevant to gaming itself, and yeah, we're always gonna find a hot topic of the week to talk about, and if there's something big that's going on, obviously we're gonna try to cover it, but we're gonna try to put together a few more segments of things. We're gonna start off one tonight, and we've got some ideas hopefully to bandy about for the coming weeks, and as we get through them, I'm gonna work on putting together some graphics and things, but the first segment that we're going to showcase, we're going to do after we talk about a couple of quick news items. So Sony has made the news this week. They are restructuring once again, which, if I remember correctly, it wasn't that long that they restructured, right? Am I missing? Yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about Kaz leaving, but they've been kind of building their executive teams and stuff, right?
That's what I understand.
Okay, so they're doing it again. So, and they want to really spearhead that single that first party mentality, or the games that they've been pumping out. They want to continue to reinforce that with their consumer base. So, in as such, here's what's going on now with PlayStation and Sony Interactive Entertainment. So, first off, starting April 1st, the big man himself, Mr. Layden, Sean Layden, he is going to. He's currently the Worldwide Studios chairman. He will kind of continue to narrow that focus on Sony Worldwide Studios, and I guess Shuhei Yoshida reports to him still. His name is not anywhere in here, actually, in this announcement that they made. So I'm not sure where if anything is changing for him, as he's president of Sony Worldwide Studios, but Sean is chairman of Worldwide Studios and Sony Interactive Entertainment America president. So not sure what changes for him, but he's going to get a lot more involved in the Worldwide Studios and what Shuhei and their teams are bringing together. I'm assuming that it's sort of like like Shuhei's the Matt Booty character on Microsoft's side, and maybe he's the Phil Spencer of the side. I'm not sure exactly where they all fit in this, but this is what he's doing. Now, Phil Rosenberg, who is he's now going to be, and here's his. He's now going to be head of global publisher and developer relations. So he's your third party guy. This is the dude that. Do you guys remember what Phil Spencer or what Peter Moore used to do? Yeah, that's right. He was Adam Boyes. So he's taken over the Adam Boyes job. So he is now going to be working on making sure the third parties are bringing their stuff in. And I couldn't find a picture of him, but Hideki Nishino is going to assume the role of head platform planning and management. So he's going to be kind of the Mike Ibarra counterpart to platform planning, getting the firmware and working on the new hardware and stuff like that. As far as the sales and marketing, you're gonna love this. Our favorite guy who loves to say things, Jim Ryan. I guess when you come out of E3 saying the things that he gets to say, you get a promotion. So he is actually going to be Deputy President and Global Head of Sales and Marketing for Sony Interactive. So Sony Interactive Europe and Asia will report, Japan Asia will report to him. John Kodera, who's President and CEO of SIE, will be responsible for this side of the world. So,
well, hey, at least we know someone's thinking about the kids in marketing.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. So, where this all plays out, who knows? But it seems like the exit of Kaz is just getting some little shakeups done. And thanks to Game Reactor for this picture. But it looks like Sean Layden's going to kind of be first party. We will have Phil Rosenberg as third party, and then we'll have Jim and John Kodera running the marketing and sales stuff. So kind of streamlining things a bit, it looks like. Some of the same restructuring we've seen from Microsoft and from Nintendo looks like they're just starting to do now. I
did like, though, that they took the opportunity to, in their messaging, to do the whole "we're the saviors of single-player, first-party diversity in gaming," blah 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 blah.
Yeah, but until somebody proves otherwise, they're kind of succeeding in that. I mean,
mostly through third-party exclusivity of Japanese games that just don't come to Xbox for whatever reason.
Yes, but their first-party, I mean, come on, their first-party output far exceeds kind of even Nintendo's at this point. Not necessarily an IP, but in what they're bringing out. Nah, come on.
Nope.
We just had the announcement of Horizon Zero Dawn, and 7.6 million copies of the game sold in a year. I mean, you can't argue with their output.
Popularity of a pretty game on the most popular platform does not indicate that it's the better game than, say, Breath of the Wild or
Mario
Odyssey.
Which you don't even think is as good as Galaxy.
I don't.
But you're saying it's better than Horizon Zero Dawn?
I'm saying it could be.
Aha.
I'm saying that the idea that it's far and away better than everything else because of its sales numbers. The sales numbers are a terrible metric for quality. It's popularity more than anything else. And I'm not dogging on Horizon. It's a pretty game. But I don't see anything when I look at it that leaps out as earth-shattering or terribly risky. Taking Zelda and turning it into an open world game as opposed to what it was it's a pretty big shakeup. Mario is not terribly risky, but it's really kind of hard to argue with its quality. It's really well put together. I don't really I don't really care, for that more than Galaxy because of it's how much it makes you retread ground and such like that. But yeah, just the idea that only Sony's putting out a high quality game nowadays is just false.
They're putting out the ones that sell the best. I mean, you
on the biggest platform.
But
that counts for so much.
It does, but how do you think they got to be the biggest platform? I mean, that's what the whole.
I don't know that it beat Halo. Halo 5 may have sold more.
I'd have to look because Microsoft doesn't put numbers out anymore, so it's hard to manage who is doing, what their sales numbers are.
It's a big number.
Of course, it's a big number.
It's a good number, but
I'm not sure it's as big as 3, actually.
we were talking about 10%, attachment rate, which I know is not necessarily a small number either, but there's just a lot of people who didn't buy that game. The numbers are all skewed because of how the consoles have sold this generation.
They're skewed, but you still have to take into account that the whole idea that they've gotten that far, it does give them a bigger base to do better with those games. I mean, it's and again, I can go back to a number of Microsoft games that should have and criminally should have sold better than they did, and they didn't. So Microsoft kind of gives up on it, and in fact, as I'm thinking about it, State of Decay will be a semi-single player game, right?
Yeah, the thing is, I think that Microsoft actually focusing on. I mean, they're going to bring some single player. Phil has said that balance is an important thing, and that's what we're talking about. But Microsoft has the network and the infrastructure and the engineering to support having the better multiplayer experience, the better multiplayer network.
And I don't. What is going on? There's like an earthquake.
And so
your screen is shaking as you type, Peter.
Sony,
maybe.
Sony doesn't have that.
I'm on a ship.
So,
well,
maybe that's part of it too.
That may be, and I'm not disputing that that Xbox Live as a network for multiplayer is better than PSN.
I'm saying that Microsoft has invested in having that, so they have the advantage there. Multiplayer things. We saw what happened when Call of Duty went to PlayStation, and they had to shut down tournaments, and they had to do things like that because the PlayStation Network just couldn't hang. Microsoft has invested in the platform and the network, so they're going to make games and make use of it.
Which they should. Which they absolutely should.
They're going to continue to do single player too. That just had a bit of a rough run with some of it. I mean, look at Quantum Break. Quantum Break is actually a pretty solid game in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Is it a 94, 95 meta? Who cares? Probably not. But it got raked over the coals because it hasn't been beneficial to be an Xbox game in popular opinion and or reviews.
Well, we'll see with Sea of Thieves because I think that one's breaking the mold. You've even got GameSpot doing articles on 10 reasons that you want to buy that game. So
these are the exceptions that prove the rule, though. When you look at the ones that do get the universal acclaim, it's only because they're just about perfect. Look at Forza Horizon 3; it's amazing and just about perfect. Cuphead, amazing, just about perfect. If there's almost no flaw that you can put on those, so. What are they going to say? They have to say, yeah, this is actually pretty decent. So, but if there's something like, a Quantum Break where, is it 720p? And that was all that the talk was before it launched, is what the resolution it was. Was it this? Was it that? Now, maybe we're starting to get kind of past that with some of the new titles come in and kind of the X kind of revitalizing things a bit because it's a very nice machine to play on. So maybe we'll start to see a little bit of a change. But really, for me, the idea that only one one house of games is putting out the best games this year this generation is just false.
When it comes to the single player games, it's not false. It's just not.
I don't buy it.
I can, first off, you got to find them, but I can put up. I mean, I can put up the list of single player games on both sides, and it's not even. I mean, even if you step back and look at it from an objective viewpoint, which is why I have a PlayStation 4, because those are the games that I'm not getting on the Xbox. They're just not coming, and so that's their. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that they've got, and I think this is we see it, and we've talked about it before. For some whatever reason, Microsoft Studios are apparently not allowed to make other games. Now, 343i, I'm not expecting to make anything but Halo. That's the Halo studio. It's Frankie O'Connor and half of Bungie.
Right.
There. Turn 10, I'm not expecting Turn 10 to turn around and make an RPG. That's Forza.
Playground's going to do something different.
Yes, they are, but Playground's not a first-party studio. It should be. I think Microsoft should buy Playground, and maybe after a new Fable they will. But and that's if that game. I'm hoping that game is really coming. But the Coalition is making Gears. What else are they making? We don't know. We don't think of anything.
No, they were making that other game, right? Shanghai.
Yeah,
or
there's
something.
Right before they became the Coalition.
Yeah.
Right, but there's someone else. There's someone else working with them on something.
I heard. Yeah, what was it? Splash Damage was maybe making the campaign for 5.
Maybe.
But
rumor.
So I mean, it's.
I'm just saying that a lot of this is just perception. It's just.
Now I mean, come on. I am more. I play more on my Xbox than I do my PlayStation by far, and even for me, it's more than it really is more than just a perception. You go on their website, excuse me, and it's hard to find a number of these big single player games that Sony does just pump out. Whether or not they're as quality as Horizon or as quality as like Gravity Rush.
Tiger.
Gravity Rush 2 was not a great game, but it's there. I mean, it's out there. We have in the next couple of months alone, God of War, then Detroit, and I can't think. We have Sea of Thieves, which is multiplayer, and we have.
Well, no, Sea of Thieves can be played single player as well. It's not a story game.
It's not a story game. It's not a.
Although honestly, I think that player stories can be better than stories, anyway. But that's just me.
It depends. I mean, Quantum Break, I thought had a great story.
Right, but I'm saying. For pound, if you ask me which is preferred to you, Juan, do you prefer to sit down and play through a story, or do you prefer to make stories with friends? Making stories with friends makes better stories, and it goes way back. It goes way back to like middle '90s, doing team play, capture the flag and tribes with my Marine buddies. Epic stories we made there. EverQuest was the best story making sandbox in the history of ever. I've still got great memories from that game, from the stories we made with other players in the sandbox. Just things that emerge from other players interacting with each other. That kind of memory you don't really get from. I mean, you can remember, like a good line or a good cutscene or a good section of gameplay from a game, but it's not like that emergent thing. So, the idea that only one house is bringing single player, in the last year, and for right now, Sony has definitely done that. But it's not like it's been that the entire generation. We had Rise, we had Dead Rising 3, we had QB, we had Recore, so the idea is, it's perception. It's marketing, because that's what they have to do. They have to say that now, because the whole marketing thing they had with the power at the start of the gen, they don't have anymore. They can't say that they're saying it's the best place to play. And I would really like to know based upon what, because any third party or any multi-platform, I don't know if that's the case anymore. So they have to double down on, this is what we do. This is what we do well. They do it well. I'm not saying they don't do it well. I'm just saying this notion that they're the only ones doing it well, or the only ones resisting the pull of microtransactions, or they're not the last hope. It's ridiculous.
No one said they're the last hope. What I'm saying is
they are. That's why they're doubling down on it.
No, they're doubling down on it because that's what's working for them. That is what's selling for them. And the bottom line is that if you it's perception is there's 5 single player games on each side, and you have the perception that one's better than the other. You don't have that perception right now. The reality is that there aren't a lot of single player story experiences on the Xbox right now. There just aren't.
Recently, but when you look at the gen, there is. Over the gen, they put out first party about as much as Sony does. The difference is the third party, and also the fact that Sony doesn't really put out really multiplayer games we're talking about.
Right.
And why is that not the narrative? Why is the narrative Sony's so great at single player? Sony does single player the best. Blah blah blah. Where is their multiplayer? Where is it? It's Uncharted. It's Killzone. I mean,
they don't focus on multiplayer, but they know that, but they don't advertise
because they're not good at it.
But they don't.
So when they talk about the stuff they are good at, and everyone says, "Oh, well, that's because they're the best at it." No, it's just what they can do. It's what they're competent at, right? But you don't see Peter getting excited about playing Ghost Recon on on the Sony. You don't see. They don't have anything like that. They don't have any strong multiplayer, but because the media is Sony centric, because a lot of them prefer Sony. We're talking about writers, we're talking about editors. They don't see it that way. They don't see weakness. They say, "Oh, this is what they do good, and therefore it's the only thing of value."
Well, that's what I mean. You could make that same case for Xbox with multiplayer, though.
Not true.
No, I don't. Yeah,
Xbox brings a better balance over the course of the whole generation. Yes, the last couple of years with some cancellations and recent focus on games, you can argue that they've lost the single player focus a little bit, but that's not going to be forever. And on the balance of the whole generation, I think it evens out pretty decent.
Yeah, I don't know where you get that. I'm looking across their games list. I just don't know where that comes from. Because again, it's not objectively the studios that both companies have. Just in it, take away the third party exclusives for a minute. There's no, and Phil has said this. Phil knows this. It's not even like something that Phil Spencer himself has not admitted. He knows.
Well, of course he has to. Of course he has to play to the perception. He has. If everyone's saying they have this problem, if everyone's saying this is the perceived problem that Microsoft has, how is he going to go and say, "Well, no, we don't"? He's not going to do that. Of course he's going to say, "I'm listening to your concerns and I'm making changes to make to give what the people want." And I believe that he is. I don't believe that single player will ever died at MS. And like I said, if you go back and you look at the games throughout the generation, especially the first part of the year first part of the generation when the Xbox was putting out games pretty consistently and Sony was kind of struggling on holiday time, it's not really that big of a gap. Especially since a lot of the times you get timed exclusives on Sony that end up on the Xbox later to fanfare or whatever.
Well, yes, some of those do. Some of those don't.
A good majority of them do. You just don't hear about it because it's not like a timed exclusive on Xbox where every person in the media is badgering, the devs or Phil about when it's coming to PlayStation or when it's coming to Switch nowadays. But, but yeah, no, I just don't buy it.
I don't know how you don't. I mean, it's not even it's so I mean, even like I said, the objective look at the studios makes it almost impossible right now for them to match up with their especially their single player output.
Well, right, because everyone counts games that have a multiplayer campaign as not single player. Like Halo is not single player, Gears is not single player, Forza is not single player. You know, it's just like I said. I just don't believe it.
No, Horizon has no multiplayer in it. Uncharted does. If you wanna group that in with the Halos and stuff like that. God of War has no multiplayer.
But Uncharted, when you think of Uncharted, you don't think it's multiplayer though.
No, right. I've never even touched.
And what Juan said, like say Gears. When you think about Gears, you think about people think that as multiplayer. Halo, the same thing. Even though they have very strong campaigns, but
I just think that it's what Sony has to market right now. What else do they got? What are they going to say? Come play on the best network? No. Come play on the best hardware? No.
No, I mean, you highlight what you're good at.
Right.
And that's what you do. That makes business sense.
The difference is, if Microsoft highlights what it's good at, the media's like, oh, well, brr, brr, brr. But Sony highlights what they're good at. It's like, nom, 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 nom. They're the best. No.
We're sitting here with Sony lapping Microsoft in console sales. You want to blame a little of that on the media? Sure, I'm with you on that. I know all about the media. I know all about the media bias.
Microsoft has all kinds of fault in why that happened too.
Right.
I mean, but aside from the fact that it really wouldn't matter, what mattered, what changed was the U.S. Microsoft never led anywhere else. Microsoft was never Europe's console. So, the difference is the U.S. went to the PlayStation this generation, and therefore the world did, and blah, 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 blah from there, whatever. And then you got the lemming effect. It's the supposedly popular one, so, kids tell, I want a PlayStation, mommy, or whatever. It's the idea, like I said, that they're the only one with talent putting out games, just ridiculous.
I didn't say they weren't the only ones with talent.
I'm not saying you did, but it's said every day. Every day I hear, oh, well, this is what happens when you give studios a chance to show their talent and blah, 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 blah. And then you go and you read an article where the dinosaurs from HDD are outsourced anyway. So... Yeah, I mean,
even Fastback's got a great point. Xbox did not build up first-party studios last gen like Sony did because they spent more money here and there. He's got to build that stuff up, which now he has not done.
Well, we haven't seen the results of it.
I could tell you he hasn't bought Deep Silver, which he could have had for. I mean, and the game and the company he did buy makes what? One of the biggest multiplayer type games on the planet, Minecraft. So I mean,
that is less, I think, about multiplayer and more about the fact that it's on every freaking platform.
Right.
Here's the thing. Did Deep Silver want to be bought by Microsoft?
I don't know, but that's just.
I'm surprised they even want to be bought at all.
Yeah.
But they were bought by THQ Nordic.
Yeah.
For a dime.
Silver dime?
No. Yes. I mean, Derp. I
can't not think Derp Silver.
Derp Silver. Maybe at E3, it's E3 of the super Microsoft comeback games. Maybe.
I don't even want to think about E3.
You kind of have to. It's March.
The whole wait till E3 thing. I can't be that guy either. I don't have to wait for crap. I got tons of stuff to play on my Xbox. I got the best place to play it. I've got Sea of Thieves coming, which is going to own my soul, and apparently I've also traded away my soul for Monster Hunter. So we'll find out. But yeah, I mean, it's just opinion. I'm of the opinion that the gap, the difference is less than it's being made out to be.
I think there is actually some truth in that, honestly. I play a lot of the stuff on the PlayStation, and honestly, as far as like the first party stuff goes, I don't think Uncharted 4 was a good game. Horizon Zero Dawn was I just think it's okay. I didn't think it was anything, mind blowing, really amazing or anything. But the stuff that I played on Xbox, like Rise, and I know a lot of these are, kind of second, third party, I guess, because it's Crytek, Remedy, Insomniac, and other third party studios. But just a lot of the first party Sony stuff, like outside of Infamous Second Son, and it's actually the one I could even think of right now. Like no, because they don't even own Ready at Dawn, so the order's not even. Bloodborne's, From Software, they don't own them. Ratchet and Clank's Insomniac, they don't own them. So
it's the IPs they own.
Yeah, but
Neo.
a lot of Neo.
Gravity Rush. What was that other one?
Gravity Rush is
that's
internal.
Sony
That's
Japan.
Sony Japan.
Yeah.
Last Guardian.
What about the last? Well, no, I'm talking about Senua's
Persona?
Sacrifice.
Oh, Hellblade.
Hellblade.
That's
Ninja
third
Theory.
party.
Theory.
Yeah,
Ninja
they
Theory.
don't own them either. A lot of the games that they've put out that I've felt have been the best exclusive games, if you will, have been from studios they don't own.
Right.
So, I to a degree, I do definitely agree with Juan. I think Xbox, the stuff that they've put out, I feel even like going into their third party stuff has been really great. Especially Quantum Break. That was one that I remember being really annoyed about reading reviews because it seemed like a lot of outlets didn't play that game the way it should have been played. They just try to play it like a third-person cover shooter, and you're not going to enjoy that game if you just try to play it like every other third-person cover shooter.
Against its express directions, it tells you several times how to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Gerstmann play it and complain about it was just painful.
Mm-hmm. So, I agree there. I do think that there definitely, is like this putting a lot of these games up on a pedestal. And I even look at things like The Last of Us, like I wasn't blown away when I played that either. I think Naughty Dog is actually extremely overrated. I think Uncharted 1 through 3 are really great, but that's the only Uncharted games I liked. I don't like Crash Bandicoot, not a big fan of Jak and Daxter. I think Naughty Dog is supremely overrated, but is what it is, I guess. But
what was that other big third-party game that had no reason for not coming to Xbox in the last gen or the last year?
Nier
Automata.
Yeah, Automata. That's what I was thinking of. There's another perfect one where, that's one of Sony's amazing lineup. For what reason? Why is that not on Xbox? Yeah, you look at Monster Hunter World. That game could have done just fine on Xbox, and there are dudes on Xbox who like booty too.
It's true.
I mean, that's why that game is.
Don't think it's going to sell.
They don't think so, but I'm telling you, they're walking away from. They're either walking into Sony money, and these are just money hats that we don't learn about because the industry doesn't give a fuck. And I mean the media, they don't. Sony will never be called down for third-party money hatting the same way Xbox would, because there's just not the same pressure to when's it coming to PlayStation? When's it coming to PlayStation? When it was a week before Cuphead came out, and Polygon was breaking it like it was news that it wasn't coming to PlayStation. like, well, I guess it really isn't. Like, well, it hasn't been, you fucking dickheads. So, it's frustrating sometimes to see the lack of parity in how things are treated.
Actually, Nier Automata, people were asking why it's not coming to Xbox.
Well, I'm doing it now. I don't understand why it never did.
Well, I'm just saying there were many outlets that were asking why.
I don't disbelieve. I just didn't see it.
So
I totally believe you, but I didn't see it.
I still think Yakuza is one of the best things on PlayStation, and that's Sega.
And that's another one. Yeah, it's a perfect example of why that isn't. Because there are people like me who remember that the Xbox was the Dreamcast 2, and we love Shenmue, and that is the modern Shenmue. That's going to be a better Shenmue than Shenmue 3 when it lands, from everything I'm seeing.
Yep.
So, but there was that recent deal with Sega taking pictures at the Microsoft headquarters, so maybe there's some inroads being made there. Who knows? Maybe it's even just bringing stuff, to backward compatibility, like Jet Set Radio Future, which I would be all for. So, as I said, I didn't mean to totally derail the show. My opinion, take it for what it is that I don't think the gap is what people think it is.
Well,
I know sales will say otherwise, but and rating and reviews will say otherwise. But those things are a function of popularity more than quality.
So, well, but they sell. I mean, I don't know what else to. It's hard to. When you start getting into subjective pieces like quality, that's one thing. You start to get into objective things like sales numbers.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. People are confusing sales with quality, and they're not the same.
I
Sales
don't believe that at all, because if you don't sell a shitty game, does not sell 7.6 million copies. I'm sorry.
It doesn't have to be a shitty game to not be the best game of all time.
But it doesn't even have to be the best game of all time to sell that many. And if I remember correctly, and I always go back to Sunset Overdrive, because Sunset Overdrive was critically acclaimed. Like a lot of even IGN of all places gave it a 9. GameSpot gave it an 8. GameSpot gave Forza a 6. So to give a game like Sunset Overdrive an 8, I mean, it's critical doesn't of course doesn't always equal popularity, but it's hard to dismiss sales numbers.
But 90% of the people didn't give an F about Horizon Zero Dawn, which is shameful.
I mean, look, the media was okay with Sunset Overdrive. It holds an 81 Metascore on 89 critics, so it didn't do badly in the media. I mean, but that's not burning anything up. I mean, that's not the kind of universal, inject it in my veins love that say like Nier or HCD or Zelda or Odyssey got, and I would wager I would say those games are largely overrated. I'm not saying they're bad games, but are they the best games? I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, I know Horizon Zero Dawn was on my Game of the Year list. I mean, that's and it.
Yeah, I love the game too. I mean, I platinumed it because it was so great.
It's the only game so far on the PlayStation I've platinumed. And when I started playing that game, I stopped playing other games. So I mean, it's there's 7 million other people that. What to say? When you look at the amount of people who platinum that game, you don't platinum a mediocre game.
I don't know what else was going on at the time. For them. I mean, I'm just saying the whole thing about they're the last hope of single player. All this. What else do they have to do? That's what they've got.
But that's also what is popular right now, with the exception of.
And why is it popular? Who owns the most what? The loud voices you're hearing that equal popularity are PlayStation owners. So they're dictating what's popular, and PlayStation Leading Media is dictating what's popular.
What's selling is what's dictating what's popular.
No.
We just
it's like Peter. It's like what Peter says. If 90% of the people who own the platform didn't touch it, is it really burning up everything? Is it really Is it really grasping the minds of the people who own that product? Is it really knocking it dead? No, it's really not.
Then somehow we've got to come up with some sort of metric for that, because it's one of the best-selling PlayStation games this gen. I don't know how you. Yeah, it is. I just don't.
No, it definitely is.
Yeah,
I'm not debating that. It is, but that's because their single-player IPs are really only doing so well out of their entire install base. What's being picked up the most? The multiplayer stuff, and the multi-platform stuff.
Well, the multiplayer stuff is being picked up more. So we just said earlier that wasn't as strong on the PlayStation. So I mean, somehow I'm not sure where we're headed with this. As far as I'm sort of getting turned around a little bit because we just talked about their multiplayer not being as good as Xbox's multiplayer, but yet even the multiplayer stuff is selling better.
Yes, because we're talking about the third party, the FIFAs, that's where you're seeing more numbers.
Right, but we're like I said, we're also seeing those high numbers out of their first party and single player stuff. That's just it. They're actually selling I mean, they're really actually selling everything. And that's one of the reasons that they keep outpacing everybody. It's because their stuff just keeps. Some of it is the networking, the lemming effect. That's a true thing. It happened with the 360 last gen. It's a piece of the pie.
Happened with the Wii.
It absolutely happened with the Wii, which is why the Wii. You saw it next gen when the Wii U crashed and burned. So there's absolutely that effect in there. But I think that when you, I think dismissing the single player stuff is not. I think you just kind of. I think that puts the blinders on a little bit. And I'm not sure, I just don't think that's. Hopefully that's not what Hopefully that's not what Microsoft is doing as well. Hopefully Microsoft has seen what has gone on, and is, maybe, like I said, maybe they come out in the next few months and look at all these single player games we got, and then Xbox gamers start to buy them. Oh,
Monster Hunter is doing pretty well. And that could be considered single player, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So the single player is that co-op?
It's not required co-op. It's not shared world like Sea of Thieves.
Okay. The story driven.
Not the Sea of
I don't know about
not the Sea of Thieves is really required co-op either.
It has a story. It's not. I don't think anyone's coming to Monster Hunter for the story though.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So let's move on real quick. I'm going to show you guys this month's PS Plus since we do the Xbox games with gold. I couldn't do it last week because they hadn't decided upon these yet, but this is this month's PS Plus games, and it's actually a pretty good lineup.
That's a pretty game, I think.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it really is. I actually rented that from the library and played it. It's always been a great looking game. And then of course Bloodborne being your other one. Let me see if I can get this. Oh, I just had it.
It's pretty solid actually. That's not a bad deal.
No, it's a good month. It's been a very good month for free games. But something that did happen, Sony has announced that starting in March of 2019, they will no longer be including PS3 and Vita games in their free games Games Plus, the PSN Plus. So I have two trains of thought on that. One, I kind of understand it. They want people to they want the last of the PS3 people to jump and stop playing their PS3s. So it doesn't make much sense, I think, to include them anymore. The Vita games surprise me. I'm surprised they're giving up on the Vita again. How many times did they give up on the Vita? They keep giving up on it. It's like a ritual with them.
It's like a sacrificial lamb, once in a while, like that.
Yeah, it really is. I don't get it. The like I said, the the PS3 games, sure. How many people are really playing them? I mean, they have to. I imagine they have to see. They have to see the usage numbers. So, but Vita games, I thought Vita was making that big comeback. Maybe I was wrong.
Nah, it still gets some games here and there, but I think with the Switch out especially, I think a lot of developers rather focus over there.
All right. So is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? What do you guys think?
Well, the lineup, the 2 free games is a good thing. There's no arguing with that. It puts the Game of Gold output out to a little bit meh by comparison. Meh with gold. But I think it's a little bit of Saddam Hussein from South Park movie. Hey guys, don't worry, look over here. Hey, don't pay attention to that. Look at this thing over here. Yeah, buddy. I can't do the voice, but whatever. But you know exactly what I'm talking about. I think that it was a little bit of be excited about this, and I'm sorry, we're kind of the video games. Yeah, but I don't have any dog in the whole race when it comes to the Vita. What happens to the PS3 games? I guess they're not putting anything else in, because I know when it first was kind of announced, people were like, "Well, cool, that means I'm going to get more PS4 games," and I think it's still just going to be the 2 games. So, maybe if they continue at this level of quality, if it's real quality games like Bloodborne and Ratchet and Clank here, then maybe 2 games will be acceptable if they're 2 really good games. I mean, I look at Games Gold sometimes and I go, take it or leave it, whatever. But if it was like 2 great games every month, then okay.
Yeah, but
I don't want that.
Maybe like a PSVR game with it.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want that for Games Gold because I want my backwards compatibility 360 games and stuff.
Well, that's the thing. So that's where I think this is sort of. First off, this signals that there will absolutely, positively never be PS3 backward compatibility. I think that ship will have sailed now and Rick Lagnese has shot it with a cannon and sunk it. So this is where, in my opinion, you can take that.
No, I have to step away for a minute.
Yeah, in my opinion, this is where the advantage of Microsoft's backward compatibility comes into play, because games with gold is, whether you like them all or not, there's 4 games per month, and all 4 of those games are playable on the Xbox One, because they're now careful to make every Xbox 360 game that they put in games with gold backward compatible. And in the case of like Forza Horizon, which was a games with gold Xbox 360 game a while ago, now is enhanced, so now you have a reason to go back and hit it again. I think Microsoft's got the upper hand now with the free game giveaway, which is funny because they really had to spawn it because of Sony and Sony doing it, and so I think with this, Microsoft gets the advantage, because now they can continue to put out 4 games a month, and they're all going to be games that are playable on the Xbox One, whether they're 360 games or not. And unless Sony comes up with now 4 PS Plus games per month, which maybe they could do.
No, I think when they announced it that someone in Polygon got a hold of them and they responded to Polygon saying, no, it's going to be 2 games.
Well, if it's, if there's a quality game,
right,
then, quality over quantity.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see it flying if it's on this level like Bloodborne and Ratchet and Clank going forward, 2 games. I can't see anybody being mad about that.
Yeah. And I agree about no longer having the PS3 games, because, I mean, who's still firing up the PS3 if you have a PS4? Frankie is. All right.
There you go.
He's in the minority. I mean, I have mine. I have it upstairs in the bedroom, and the thing is definitely collecting dust. I mean, with the PlayStation Plus, I get the license for the games, but I'm pretty sure I will never play them. And if they had backwards compatibility, I would, but
right, that's the nice thing because I'm always playing older games on the. Oh, speaking of, just real quick sidetrack, I picked up Turok. I forgot to mention that when I was talking about stuff this week, and it's a really really great port actually of the PC version.
Really?
And oh yeah, no, it's real solid. Like even right down to all the graphical options from PC are on it, which is unique on console. That doesn't happen very often. But it plays real nice. It's
videos I saw. It looks like crap.
Yeah, no, the graphics are old, and it's it's at a decent resolution, but they didn't do. I mean, it's got the old textures, it's got the old polygon count. It's definitely old. I had to go back and pull a video of the N64 to see how much better it is than the actual original. But yeah, compared to anything modern, it's not. It doesn't look great. But I tell you, the action is pretty great. It's fast. If you like that kind of old style first person shooter, like a Quake, a Doom, Shadow Warrior, Duke Nukem, like those old games, it plays like that. It's great. It's a great throwback for me. I loved those types of games. It can be a little frustrating sometimes because it's difficult, which is actually kind of cool. And I even like the soundtrack. I picked a tune for the playlist today that's just got a savage ass beat that I just love. So. But yeah, no, if you're into it, I'm not recommending it for everybody because if you're one of those people that get hung up on how a game looks, just stay away. But yeah, for $20, I was pretty pleased.
Now, $20 got you both of them, right?
Ooh, $20 pop.
Ooh, okay. Well, still not bad. That's still not bad if you liked
It's
Turok. I mean, $40 for both Turoks.
It's a little steep, but to have it in my library, I was cool with it.
Cool. Peter snuck out like a ninja. Okay. So, now, here's how we're going to do this since Peter had to walk away. We're going to swing back to him. We'll do him last in this next thing. I do not yet have a graphic for it. I'm going to have to work on something and think of something. But we are going to call this segment that we're going to start doing, we're going to call it The Backlog is Real. And every week, what we're planning on doing is we're going to pick each of us is going to pick a game out of our backlog. Something that we just haven't touched in forever. And we're going to talk about why we bought it, what drew us to it, how long we played it for, and then why we gave up on it. And as a bonus, whether or not you're planning on going back to it again. And unfortunately, Nathan's not here tonight. I'll give you his because he told me what his was and actually told me the reason I thought about adding whether or not we're going to go back to it is because his game he actually is going to go back to because it became backward compatible on the Xbox. So, Frankie, I'm going to start with you, and we'll just come right to left. We'll go Hebrew style, and by that time, maybe Peter will be back. So, I'm going to bring up... I have an image for you, but you can talk about...
I saw.
I know yours is multiple games, but...
Yeah. More or less, yeah.
So if you would just translate that little bit of Japanese there for us, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's Yakuza Kiwami.
Nice.
I'll bump on my Japanese. Been playing a lot of Monster Hunter, so.
Send all hate mail to.
So with this one, I reviewed Yakuza 0 last year over at Short Pause. That was my first time playing any games in the series. I've always had a passing interest in them. Back to the PS3, like I have 3 through 5 on there. I've got Dead Souls, that goofy zombie spinoff, and just when I first bought the ones on the PS3, I was in the midst of my stupid trophy hunting days. So seeing that the Yakuza games were like 95, 120 hours to platinum, I just never bothered firing them up. So, fast forward now, I kind of have stopped caring about a lot of that stuff, thankfully.
Yay.
So I played through Yakuza 0. I loved it. That game was everything I wanted it to be. It was really great. Story was amazing. Characters are goofy. A lot of the side stuff is goofy. It was just a lot of dumb fun that I love. So, 0 came out in January, and they were bringing Kiwami West, which is a remaster of the first game. So I figured, all right, well, 0's, a prequel to everything. I'll get Kiwami and, continue playing through the series. 6 is coming out, next month. So I was like, all right, this will be great. I'll play through Kiwami, and then, I'll get a PS3 at the beginning of 2018 and play through the other ones and be caught up for 6. Of course, fast forward to August when Kiwami came out. So I think it came out a week before Destiny 2, so that was already a bad sign. So I think initially I fired up a stream of Kiwami when it released, so I streamed it for like an hour or so with JD, and I just never, for whatever reason, just never went back to Kiwami. I just fell into Destiny 2 almost immediately after that, and yeah, so now here we are in March. 6 is coming out next month. I did get a PS3 again, so I do have that. We've actually been working on Killzone because they're shutting the servers for 2 and 3 down at the end of the month, so we wanted to get all the multiplayer trophies done. So, but so I still have to go back to Kiwami. I do intend to. I definitely still have a burning desire to play all these games, but it's just worse because now Monster Hunter is a thing, and I can't tear myself away from it. No matter how hard I try, I just can't do it. So.
Yeah, I feel like I might have made a mistake tonight, but
yeah, no, I mean, no, but you did. Yeah, so at some point, totally, I am going to get back to Kiwami, and I do have 3 through 5. I don't know if they're going to bring Kiwami 2 West yet. They haven't announced anything. I hope they do. I mean, it'll just give me another reason to keep procrastinating and playing Monster Hunter and not playing Yakuza, so that I could just play all of them without having to go back to 2, but either way, the goal is, I would like to get back through all of those. If I could set down Monster Hunter to, be ready for 6 next month, but we'll see.
All right.
Very nice.
Very nice. All right. So I'm going to give you Nathan's. I can't give you the details on Nathan's because I don't know when he stopped playing it, stuff like that. But Nathan's game, and maybe he can post if he's not asleep by now, was
Nathan.
Oh, shoot.
Whoa, all right.
Alrighty. And there we go.
Ooh. That's a solid choice.
That is a solid choice. Hold on, let me get back to where the hell we were. Oh, good lord.
Oh, no, I kind of like this.
Yeah, I do too, but this happens every once in a while when I go to click on changing the image and it ends up changing the background, and I don't know why that happens. It's just it's an XSplit thing. So let's get the real Spec Ops.
Oh, Spec Ops.
Yeah, so he was excited for this because he had played it a while ago. He hadn't played it in a long time from the Xbox 360, and now it's backwards compatible. So he wants to get back.
Didn't he say? I think it was this game that it was still in plastic. He had to open it up.
Yeah, he never even opened it. Like, he bought it and never even opened it. So that is, like, true backlog to where he hadn't even played it yet.
Yeah.
So that's his game.
I've heard good things.
I love that game.
I don't think I've played it.
I haven't ever played it, actually.
It is amazing.
Really?
Yes, it is one of my favorite underrated games from last console generation. Nolan North voices the main character, and there's just a lot of crazy shit that happens in this game. And I think there's 4 or 5 different endings that you can get. So one of them is actually really hard to do because I don't want to spoil anything, but there's this really challenging gunfight that ensues once you go that route. So but I thought all 4 endings of that game were really insane. But yeah, this game is excellent. I think Nate will enjoy that when he finally plays it. You guys should too. It's worth your time.
Is this the one where there are big sandstorms and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I may have to take a look at that.
Needs to be games for gold. Isn't it Game Pass? No.
Mm.
Damn.
I don't
Maybe.
know if it's in Game Pass or not.
I'd have to look.
I don't think it is. They
It
need to
doesn't
add
stand
this.
out.
It's not expensive. I think I paid like $2.99 for a copy at GameStop or something.
Nice.
Well, now anything that comes backward compatibility automatically
Oh,
gets
yeah.
like a
That's true. Now it's $10.
It's now $14.99.
Right.
yeah, exactly. I think Crackdown did that. Crackdown was like $2.50, and
Yep.
now it's like $14.99.
Yeah, I had it digitally, but I know that Lost Odyssey, when it went BC, I had to lock in the price at GameStop there because before the end of the day, it went from $9.99 to $14.99.
When they try to buy them if you try to buy them digitally, they're still $40 and $50.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that is craziness. So, all right, Juan, I'm gonna bring yours up.
A lot of people will be like, "What?
What?
What?
How
Right.
could you not have finished this game, Juan?
I'm probably in the same boat as Juan is.
All
Yeah,
right.
I picked it up. Day one, $60, which is always the worst, right? Because then it's the one that it's probably like if digital refunding were a thing back then. Like I've used it a couple times. What was that awful sniper game that I bit on their stupid PR gambit?
Ghost Warrior 3.
Ghost Warrior?
Yeah, right. That one I immediately refunded. I played it for about a minute and a half, and well, no, it's exaggeration. I played it for maybe a half hour, and it's like, no, I just can't, and refunded that. But I would have done that to The Witcher back in the day, probably. Part of it was I at the time had some like major open world fatigue. I didn't want any more open world games. But I thought it'd be better. I thought it would get me out of that. So I got it, and I played about 10 to 15 hours of it. Got a little outside of White Orchard. Some of that is more time there than I had to because I tried to restart a couple of times because I had some kind of like god awful audio glitch that made everything get choppy and slow down the audio. It was terrible, really bad. Like they would get out of sync, and like they would stop moving but still be talking because the words were still trying to catch up. It was terrible. It's totally immersion breaking. I just couldn't deal with it. And then on top of it, on the Vanilla X one, you get into some places and the frame rate just tanks, and combat wasn't really all that hot. So I just couldn't deal with it. And then it got enhanced, and I can put it on frame rate mode, and it runs so nice on the X like that. And the other mode, either mode looked pretty good, but I would play it in enhanced frame rate mode if I had the choice. And I did. I went back to it. I got as far as the ghost at the well, and kicked my ass. And I was like, yeah, maybe I'll come back to this later. Because so it's still there. I mean, it's digital. I can't refund it. It's not going anywhere. Everyone says it's amazing, and I need to play the Blood and Wine thing. So eventually, I probably will at some point if I have a drought or something I don't have right now. But yeah, it's backlogged pretty good right now.
All right.
That was mine for the longest time. I finally played that game last year. I enjoyed it. But yeah, if you're having a hard time with the combat, it's hard to dedicate the time it needs.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I want to like it. I want to give it another go, and I will. But right now, I got KCD.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't need Witcher if I have KCD.
It's true.
That is
so
Yeah.
so it's backlogged. And it's not going anywhere. I can't get rid of it. So it's like the clap. So everyone has it, pass it around, says I have to try it.
Yeah.
I would recommend if you do go back to it, play through the Bloody Baron quest. It's one of the next things you're gonna do. If that storyline doesn't do anything for you, just don't bother playing anymore, because that's like the strong point of that game is like its storytelling kicks in right there. So if you don't like what you experience with that, you're not gonna like the rest of the game.
I'm wondering if it wouldn't help me too, because another thing that kind of put me off originally was, I hadn't played any Witcher, so a lot of the concepts they take, I have as players know about, like what Witchers are and do, and their silver swords and their potions and their magic and their kind of relationship with the people and all that, and then the additional characters, like it starts out and he's dreaming about Yennefer, but there's some girl named Triss, and then there's the little one or whatever, and it's just like so many characters. Just get on my face with that. Just go. So, so I'm thinking maybe since Witcher 2 was recently enhanced, and it looks pretty amazing. I haven't gotten into myself, but when I see like comparison gifs between the characters and the locales, just in the enhancement, it looks pretty amazing, the difference. So maybe I'll give that a try, and if I warm to that, then I'll be kind of primed for Witcher 3 maybe. I don't know, but it's backlogged pretty good.
All right.
Yeah, this one is still on my list too. I fired it up to making sure it worked. And that was pretty much it. Then I got distracted, and you know how that goes.
I was always afraid to touch this game. I was always afraid that if I started it, I would never end it, and it would take over my life. So,
Played The Witcher 2, fantastic.
And which is backward compatible on Xbox Enhanced.
Yeah.
So, if you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you walked away for a second. I was gonna say he just said that.
Yeah, I must have not heard it when I had to turn my. So in preparation for the live demo, I wanted to turn my TV on because I also wanted to talk about some of the Xbox Enhanced backward compatibility stuff, and I thought it might be easier to show it, but there's a delay in the Elgato, so there's no way I could play it while I'm watching the podcast. So I was just turning my TV on. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay. Next up, Peter.
Yeah. Resident Evil 7.
Good
I was
pick.
expecting Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
Future Soldier?
Yeah. Then now he'd want to go back after playing
Yeah.
Wildlands.
Yeah, no, Resident Evil 7. I bought it on PlayStation because I was very interested in the PSVR part of it, and it's still sitting in its box. I installed the game so I can play it at any moment, but I really want to play this game.
That's the worst.
I laugh too, but I have Witcher 3 installed.
Yeah.
I can play it at any moment, but I'm not going to.
This is the thing with PSVR. It's in a box, so in order to play it, it takes effort.
This is true. I can vouch for that too. I know Frankie can.
And it's like it's so much easier to just pick up a controller, kick back, relax, and fire up something, and hooking it up. But once you have it hooked up, then it's fantastic. But it's just getting to that point. I'm just lazy, and
Yep.
I have a short attention span, so that's why I'm hopping between new games, and there's not enough time in a day to go back play the backlog. So, but I really want to play this game.
I hear
one
it is
day
one of
I
the killer apps for VR.
Yeah. One day I will.
Nice.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Hopefully.
Well, there'll be Moss. You'll try Moss on the
Yes.
on the
Yeah, I
VR.
have not tried it.
So you'll that will get you through the hookup obstacle.
Right.
And then while I've got hooked up, you'll be like, I should do Resident Evil before I unhook this thing and never want to play Resident Evil again.
Yeah.
You know what? That reminds me. I need to check my PlayStation account and make sure that see if they've given me a refund yet for the
Oh yeah.
Neo debacle.
Neo, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I have to give them props. I have to give them props. They gave me a one-time refund, even though it was really their fault. But
Yeah.
hey, they're being nice. But hopefully.
Yeah, that's one thing nice about Microsoft, like refunds and stuff, and also for pre-ordered games and other stuff. Like I ordered the Sea of Thieves, but now with the Game Pass, so I canceled the Sea of Thieves.
Right.
And it's like just do the website and done. So easy.
Well.
Yeah, no, the self-serve refunds are amazing.
Yeah.
Sadly, they're not for everyone yet. I think they're not out of preview yet.
They're not.
No.
So, it's kind of hard to say that it's something that Xbox does better than Sony because they're not doing it for everyone on Xbox yet.
Okay.
But if they do, they should because it's pretty great.
Yeah.
It's one of the most frustrating things I've run into was I wanted a refund for the Culling because that game is terrible. And I think I got a hold of them like 6 days later because I kept trying to do it online and it wouldn't, their chat was down or something. So I called and they're like, oh, you're past the refund period. I was like, it's not even been a week. What are you talking about?
Wait, there's a refund period. So Do they
Apparently.
allow you to? Okay, because
No, never got a refund. They told me I could. This is my other problem with it was they told me that I could go and do a chargeback through my bank, but
if you do that,
yeah, there's
they
probably
will,
that too.
yeah, they will rain fire upon you if you do that.
Yeah, which she gave me a code for them to provide, that they were okay with it. But my problem was that I probably spent maybe $10 on the game and used the $24 in my Xbox account also. So, like, I was more out the Xbox credit I had than the actual money I paid, and I was like, well, I don't care about like the $6 I'm gonna get back. I want like the whole $30. No, so
yeah, well,
still love that shitty game.
Yeah, well, the reason I bring it up is because, Jabril gifted me a copy of Neo the Complete Edition, and under the guise that I will stream it, because I said, hey, if I ever get this game, I promise you I will do my third stream. The trilogy it'll be the end of the trilogy, the Mike Dies trilogy, and he said, that's it. I'm getting it for you, and you're gonna stream it. So he got it for me. So I put my code in, all good. I got onto the PlayStation. It's sitting there in the purchased area in your library where it says purchased. So I go to install it. It says confirm purchase, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's just confirming that I'm using my code. So I said, okay. Next thing you know, I get 2 emails. It pulled $39.99 out of my credit card to put in the wallet, and then the wallet paid for the game. And I'm like, no. And it just so happens that I didn't have enough room on the PS4 because I only have the base PS4. I didn't have enough room to install it. So it's not even installed. So the guy was like, well, I'll give you this one-time, refund out of the goodness of our heart. And I'm like, no. You'll give it to me because you put the wrong frickin' game in my purchase list. So I'm waiting on that to process. I don't even have my PS4 on. I'm like not even turning it on until this refund is done because I don't want this to be in dispute at all. So once they process my refund, I'm going to go find the right version of Neo and hopefully download that. Then I'm going to take the money they refund me into my wallet and buy Moss. Because I want to play Moss like you do not believe. That demo for Moss that's on one of the PS demo discs, it's sublime. And I think I talked about this a week or two ago. It changed my perception of how VR can do a third-person platformer. Where I used to say, there's no way VR is built for first-person, through the eyes, and that's it. And this game completely said, you're wrong, Mike. And I said, yup, I'm wrong. So I'm looking forward to playing Moss a great deal. All right, good. TV's up. Okay, so...
Do you think we get some VR/AR VR on the Xbox side?
I don't know.
Anytime soon.
No, I think that would be the only thing, in the Xbox One X would be the only platform I see it coming on.
Right, which I'm fine with.
I think HoloLens is a dead and buried.
It's not dead and buried, but I don't think it's really.
I meant for
gaming. It's more a concept
for gaming. I don't think.
For gaming, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's built for gaming at all. I think they were hoping people would be enthralled with Minecraft, and they went, okay, good, it's Minecraft. What else can you do? And I just don't think that's going to be a gaming platform.
Well, the thing is for, I don't know. I think it was more for people to get more excited about the idea
of AR
in general than having an actual, like, oh, here it is, and you can play Minecraft with it. Because, they could show, like, a bunch of business applications and stuff, but that gets a little boring.
Well, yeah.
So, but, yeah.
I think the tech is real neat. I would love to see tabletop. My holy grail is tabletops and tabletop gaming and AR, like the Battletech game I was playing with the the miniatures I had on the map boards and such, rolling dice. I would love to see that kind of stuff in AR, like the Millennium Falcon's chess game. You know what I'm saying? That's the pipe dream for me for that stuff. The idea of playing like a first-person shooter in AR doesn't really. I mean, it's neat, but it doesn't really float my boat.
Yeah, I don't know how.
Float my skirt up.
And you know what? I can't even say I don't know how that would work because I said that about VR stuff, and voila. So I'm not.
Did we get your backlog, Mike?
Working on that. We got to finish Peter's.
All right. So hopefully I can play. I will play Resident Evil this year.
Okay.
There you have it.
And there
you
you
gonna
have
settle
it.
for what if you don't play it in VR? Are you gonna settle for just playing Resident Evil 7 as Resident Evil 7?
It's worth doing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I really bought it for VR.
I think it's worth doing though because it kind of for me was the better like horror type game that I played like the whole gen. Like I played Layers of Fear, I played Outlast, I played the first what's the Evil Within? Played the first one of those. Resident Evil 7 beat all of those handily. The Evil Within 2 looks pretty decent, but I haven't gotten to it yet. But yeah, Resident Evil was kind of like a properly done horror game in my opinion.
All right. So I've given mine long and hard thought, and since I have a lot in my backlog, this was a good one to start with. And it's funny because we were just talking about this earlier. Mine for this week is Gravity Rush 2. That's why I was laughing about this because I'm like, damn it, we're arguing about this, and one of these games is in my backlog. So I bought Gravity Rush. I actually bought Gravity Rush 2 day one because I never played the original Gravity Rush. I watched a couple of people on YouTube videos, and I'm like, hey, this is kind of cool. And I wasn't as much. I wanted to see what this game was about, so I bought it. I said I enjoyed it for a good bit. I liked the idea behind it and the fact that once she got these great gravity powers, she could fly her way to things, and she could pick up boulders and throw them at the enemy, and then she can, and she got, she's got kick skills and stuff like that, and she's a little easy on the eyes when you're playing, and I thought it was, I even streamed it, and put up some videos on the YouTube page, and it was cool. The controller talks to you, and you can hear, or you can not to talk to you, but you can hear chatter through the internal speaker on the controller, and there's a bunch of cool stuff you could do with the game. At some point, it got grindy, and I kind of put it down for a couple of days because I was like, anytime a game gets like that, I just need to take a couple days off. I'll go play something else. I'll come back to it. I did that once or twice, and then I think last year was the last time I really played it. And I was gonna jump on it when they were gonna make all those changes to the online servers where you could no longer get stuff or get some of these special items and things like that. And I'm like, well, I guess I better play it some more. And then that fizzled out, and so I'm like, all right, I can wait again. And I haven't touched it since. And I'm not sure if I'm going to actually, because I just remember the last time I put any good bit of time into it, it just got very grindy. Like I could spend over an hour just in a mining area, mining stuff and kicking bad guys. And I'm like, okay, so there's nothing else to this game, and so it sits in my backlog, and I don't know if I will pull it out or not. So.
I told you this would happen when you bought it. I told you should buy Yakuza 0.
You did say this to me, and I said I wanted something different. I'm that guy. I am the guy who supports the different game. I bought Joe Toon. So that's for another segment. So okay, so that is my. You did tell me this. I do remember you telling me this. So this is my backlog game. All right. Whew. Holy crap! It's 11 o'clock. We got to roll. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Next up, we're gonna try to do this as quick as I can because then we got to get to Juan's retro rec. But here is our big test, the big scale test. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick shot at live demoing the new Xbox, the new Xbox. Come on, Mike. Nah. Spring update. Thank you. We're gonna do the spring update. Couple of quick things on here, and then we're going to take a quick look at backward compatibility and the beauty in which it brings when they are Xbox One enhanced. And yes, you see my Kingdom Come Deliverance right there, right next to my Sea of Thieves. So one of the things that I'm gonna kind of look this way so I can look at my TV while I'm doing this because there is a delay between the Elgato and my live input. So I want to make sure I'm not clicking something wrong and then all of a sudden we're in chaos. So one of the things that you'll hear, and you may not hear it here, actually you can now. There are new sounds, and these sounds are contextual and they are spatial audio. So as you move across from left to right, you will hear that sound move from left to right on your speakers. We have that. Yeah, I know. Fascinating stuff. One other thing that they do in the audio, if you have, and I gotta find, I'm not gonna run anything at the moment, but if you run background audio while you are playing a game, be it Spotify or what have you, over here in the system settings, the audio settings will kick in and you will be able to, on the fly, balance your background audio against your game audio. I think I also have to be in a game, which is probably why that's not showing up at the moment. So that is new. One of the larger things, I don't think that I will be able to show it to you, but if we go into the settings area, now under display and sound, if your TV supports it, mine of course is only 1080p, so I get 1080 and 720. However, if you are running on a 1440 monitor, if you're hooking this thing up to a computer monitor that's 1440, 1440p will show up now as an output right below 4K. It's called QHD. A lot of PC gamers like to use 1440, so now the Xbox will be able to do that as well. And you hear some of those new sounds, the gling. Not that I have to go about it this way. Not that anybody really cares a whole lot, but for those of you who actually use Microsoft Edge on the Xbox One X, and if you do, I salute you because I really don't. They've, as you can see, they sort of redesigned it. They've put the tabs up at the top. Now you've got you can actually upload and download files to your OneDrive from here. So you can upload audio, download audio, things of that nature.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yep.
I don't actually use Edge on it much either, but
so, but it's a lot. It's supposed to be a lot faster too, and you can use the top triggers, the top buttons rather to. Oh, something went wrong.
No.
Go back and forth between tabs. And and so on. So there are, if you're a user of Microsoft Edge, there are new enhancements for this. So, and again, I don't use Edge, so I'm not really. Some of this, to be fair, honestly, I'm just looking to see how our video looks. I can't lie. Some of this stuff is not terribly huge. Now, in our clubs, though, for those of us who do, any of us still use clubs? Have we even checked our clubs?
No.
I've changed the background a couple of times and no one seems to notice.
So,
although one thing that I think would be cool to use it for is the looking for group feature for Sea of Thieves.
Hmm.
All right, well, we're all caught up on invitations. So, in the invitations, you could filter by your gamer score. You could filter by playtime. You could actually decide a little bit better who you do and don't want in your club.
I think they do get used though, because I see activity in other clubs. Like I know that the AR12 guys that do a lot of racing game stuff, their club's pretty active.
Well, and I think ours could be if we wanted to. I mean, honestly, we could find out which one of our club members are broadcasting if we wanted to check them out. We could. This is where our looking for group can come into play if we wanted to. And we could look for right in here now. We could look for groups and tournaments. And I believe if you're in a game, you'll have access to tournaments as well. So the message of the day has kind of changed a little bit. Not that as you can see, we just don't use the damn thing. So
right.
But any people who are in our club, this could be our feed if we don't want to see the feed of everybody, in the world. I can't click on feeds right now because the screen will go black. So it's another thing that this thing is not fixed.
It's a feature.
Yes, it's a feature. So one of the big things that they're doing here, which is really one of the things we'll show you. Actually, there's two big things. Going into games and apps again. They've now sectioned off games with gold. So if you've accumulated a bunch of games with gold, you've claimed them, but you haven't installed them, they'll now show up in their own curated list in which you can go and install or hide.
Yeah, very handy.
Yeah, so at that point in time when I want to play Oxenfree.
And you should, because it's fantastic.
That's what I keep hearing. So I've just kept accumulating games, and as I continue to accumulate them, at some point, if they're not already installed, I will. And you can sort them just like you sort the other games by enhanced Xbox One and Xbox 360 and Xbox games. So that's kind of nice because it saves me from going through my entire. Why does my ready to install only have 7 games in it?
Do you have a filter at the top that says all? Or
I do. Sorry. Yeah.
There it is, The Witcher 2.
Yes, it is. Believe me, I have enough backlog to run us for the next 2 years. So
I mean, this is why BC games are so great because I never played Crazy Taxi till it came in the BC.
Very true.
Game, so that was awesome.
Dark Souls, I might have never played if it didn't come to BC.
Yeah. What did I play? I've played a few, like Prince of Persia, stuff like that. So if we go to a game hub.
What the fuck?
What?
Never played Crazy Taxi?
Sorry. Not still like a couple of weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
So I want to jump on real quick.
I'm labeled not a gamer.
Not a gamer.
Right.
So
turn in your card immediately.
Oh.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I went the wrong way. So if you go to a game hub, This is one of the other things I wanted to show you.
Ooh, saw Fantasia.
Hey, Fantasia's a fantastic game.
Where's my Kinect adapter?
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. I can't play it. I may as well delete it from this damn Xbox. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
So in here now, in the multiplayer area, there should be. Do I have it? Did it show up? Maybe there aren't any. There are supposed to be some an area now where you can do you can see active tournaments. So I'm gonna go to. Let me go to the game that they show in, which I haven't installed yet, and unfortunately, I think this could well upset Juan. Where is it?
Yeah, you can hide some of those tiles, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw like Ghost Recon Beta. So.
Yeah, betas I hide, demos I hide.
Yeah, I've got to hide all that stuff. I haven't had it.
Here's the thing. Those betas, they should disappear once the full game gets released.
It's fair. Yeah.
Did I install Halo 2? Halo Wars 2? Maybe I did. Maybe I installed it.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
You were just right next to Halo Wars 2.
Well, that was Blitz Beta.
Wow.
Ballroom Blitz.
Hang on. I need to do by A to Z because sort by letter takes too long.
You can hit the Y and jump to the letter, right? When you sort by letters.
Do I?
Right.
Can you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pour one out, boys. Pour one out.
I didn't delete my beta either.
I can't.
File's still there. Yep.
I can't.
Gigantic shutting down soon too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know. So that's just the Blitz beta. I'm sure I had the game because it was gifted to me. But
It's
it's
installed.
Definitely the most underrated game of last year.
no doubt. All right, so let me see if Halo 5 has any. So basically what I'm looking for, and it could very well be that I don't have it in this build, and it's supposed to be in the build, but you can find, so here you can find groups. So you can find groups and you can find people, but there's supposed to be a place for finding open tournaments. So I'm not sure why that hasn't why that's not showing up. This is what happens when you do a live demo. Shit just doesn't work. Alright, so last big thing. Go back to the home page. So no matter where you are now, for those of you who love to use Mixer, and people ask us why we don't do our show on Mixer or why we don't broadcast a lot on Mixer. Two things stop me from being on Mixer more. Number one, the 14-day VOD. The fact that the podcast would not last that long.
Rated T for teens.
Yes. So where is it? Did they not put it out yet?
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for the helper. So,
but one thing is new is that now you can start a broadcast when you're still on the home screen.
Yeah. So I'm going to do that real quick. So you start the broadcast, and what you get when you're here at the home or when you're outside of a game is you're in a pause screen on Mixer. So once I go into an actual game,
I think it's the same screen as they have at Twitch, right? With the cat ticking clock.
Is it the cat ticking clock screen?
Yeah.
So now you see though that the mixer thing shows up.
Hmm.
And if I go out, now you see a little pause next to it, next to the 0 minutes.
Yeah.
So now I'm paused, and as soon as I go back into another game, or if I switch to another game, it's going to start unpausing. Let me turn this down a little bit. So, while we're here,
That's funny. The my mixer
Yeah.
screen is faster than the Skype screen.
is it really?
No, that's almost as real time as
Yeah.
you can get.
So, how's this looking, guys? Leave us feedback on how this is looking as far as the show goes, because from what I can see here, looks really darn good. Do I not?
Yeah, looks good on my end.
So while we're talking about it, this is Crackdown, backward compatible with Xbox One X enhancement. And if you consider the fact that I'm on a 1080p television, I'm getting not only the benefit of that, of the 4K, the enhancements to 4K, the better textures, things like that, but it's downsampling to make it even more,
nothing like a good fire to cleanse the soul.
Kind of an even more of a incredible looking picture. This, to me, I'm sorry, this looks like an Xbox One game from like the beginning of the generation.
Right.
Right. This is just phenomenal looking.
Yeah.
Yep, that downsampling. People say, well, you have to have a 4K TV to take advantage of an X. It's just not true. It really cleans up a lot of the jaggies that you would see otherwise.
No, I agree. And ooh, look at that.
Yep, they redid the explosions. They changed the textures, and then the crazy thing is that none of it was code. They didn't change the code of the game at all. This is all just magic.
Well, some of it's brute force from the hardware, but I don't buy the code, the gameplay code. I understand. I don't. This had a 6 gig download in order to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe for a second that there aren't some new textures in here, or they aren't re-skinned textures for the 4K, because it looks too damn good for it to not be touched at all. And if you think this is good, I'm just gonna switch over real quick, and this will be the last piece. So now we're on Mixer. We are paused again, and oh, I know why. Okay, that's why it didn't show up in the list, because I didn't pick enhanced.
Right.
Forza Horizon, the original Forza Horizon.
I'm actually considering a whole playthrough, like top to bottom on this.
I can't even get over how this looks. I'm looking at our Twitch stream too. This looks phenomenal. So, guys, this is going to bode very, 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 very well for when we do our live reaction shows later on this year.
Yeah.
This is going to be phenomenal. So one other thing too that I wanted to show you, and it doesn't affect, apparently according to Digital Foundry, who took a look at this, doesn't affect the game. But if you go to the guide, there are now Xbox One X settings in the guide. So you can either optimize for graphics or you can optimize for performance. I'm going to leave it on graphics for a second because honestly, there's nothing else that you can do frame rate wise on our podcast here to really enhance anything, because we run at 30 frames per second so I can't really do a 60 frame per second or if this thing had an uncapped frame rate, where you guys wouldn't see it. So I'm just gonna run around for a second.
Hey, what's up? Your wristband is still waiting at Race Central. Come pick it up.
But I'm telling you, if you didn't tell me that this was Forza Horizon 2, you would never. I mean, the only reason I know it's not Forza Horizon 2 is because you can't really drive off-road in this game. It's nearly impossible. There's only a certain number of places where you can actually run off-road.
Pretty much.
I've tried, and it's nothing.
Nah, there are walls everywhere.
Yeah, there are. And look, that's the difference between the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One.
Hey, newbie. Keep those
But what's crazy is it runs at full 4K, perfectly locked with, again, the full enhancement to
Look at this.
every aspect of it, and it's again just without messing with the code. It's pretty impressive.
This is the work of wizardry.
Yep.
And I know people who like Rand. Rand says backward compatibility is a waste of time. This game says hi, because I can easily now resync hours upon hours into this game.
Well, this one, and I love all Forza. This game of the Horizon series has the best single player. It has the best progression, and like you come in as the new guy, and you're going through, and you take on these other famous racers, and you earn your wristbands, and you do your showcases and such. I get that they couldn't do that every time, but it loses something in 2 when you're not the new guy,
right?
And when you're the boss of the thing in 3 and all that. But it definitely you still get some of the age on it through the car models are definitely, they went to a higher polygon count in the cars when they went to 5, because this was the second to the last Forza on 360.
Sure.
2, Sumo Digital did a version of 2 for this that was downgraded from the Xbox One version, but when they went to Forza 5 and the Xbox One, they upped the polygon count in the cars, the complexity, and it's visible. But just the image quality, the foliage, the lighting, I mean, it's pretty amazing what they did with backwards compatibility on this. And if this is the kind of, let me put it this way: when people ask me, and people ask me all the time, at least in the past, hey Juan, why are you still with the Xbox, after 2013? And my answer was always Forza and the evolution of Xbox 360 and Xbox Live. Like, those things grew and changed, and I believe that it's going to be the same with the Xbox One, and it really has been.
Sure.
Like, to a degree that I don't think anybody's matched.
No, and if they it's not even so much that they're enhancing these, that they're bringing these to backward compatibility, but they're enhancing them for the Xbox One X, and this is something that I think they are good in taking the time in, and that is showing some, paying some homage back to, back to the folks who have invested in the system. Mm-hmm. And I this if they enhanced Burnout Revenge or Burnout Paradise, for example, would you need the remaster?
Probably not. I don't know. It all depends how it's done.
Yeah, I would say that, I mean, there's going to be a difference. You're going to see more, I think, on the remaster than you can on, taking a game like Forza Horizon and doing it on PC. But that doesn't mean Horizon doesn't look just amazing. It looks way better and runs better than it has any business being.
No, when I saw the screenshots for the remaster, I wasn't overly impressed though. So I'm pretty sure with the BC it could look just as good.
I wasn't completely blown away. I mean, it's not worth it for. I mean, you get all the DLC and things like that, but how much is that worth to me?
Yeah, no, it's just fantastic that I could put in my Horizon disc and get that result. It's just It's just amazing, and that's like PC. You can do that with if you have upgraded PC parts. You put it in your game, and it's just better. And that's kind of something that they're bringing to console with this, which is real nice.
Yeah.
No, it's
and
a
also
real
to
strong
conserve this, to keep this
right.
Conserve all these
preservation.
games. So preservation of these games.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's killer what they did with it. I'm probably gonna play through it again just because it's a fun thing. And I went back and I found some of my old paint jobs because I like to do a library every now and then.
Yep.
Man, I found my Hemi Cuda that I did up in a Main Force Patrol, like the red, blue, and yellow from Mad Max. I was like, oh.
Does remind me, I
yes.
need to claim this month's games before they go away. So once again, my mixer has
Blown up?
paused. No, yeah, it's basically paused while we're.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting Brave. Sorry.
You have to get Brave just to obtain the license.
True. This is true.
Yeah.
So, but Trials of the Blood Dragon, that looks kind of cool. So
That is kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And of course,
Jeez.
yeah, that looks good. All right, I'll get Brave for you, Peter.
Exactly. Because when I come over, I want to play Brave.
Buy it.
No.
Elite Dangerous is $12. Just throwing that out there.
Ooh.
Is that just the core?
Just the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, Sony, this is how you do it. This is how you do it and not accidentally charge me $40. All right, so let me stop the mixer stream.
I discovered a bug because I streamed I hop between two games, and then I tried to stop the stream, and I couldn't stop the stream because it said oh, you can only fire up mixer, only one instance of mixer.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. Unless you're streaming from a PC, we can only stream to our own mixer channels. So with Twitch, everybody can log in. We can all log into the NL Gaming Twitch page and stream to there, but you can't do that with Mixer. And
except Fastback, he has issues for whatever reason.
Right. And then I'm still waiting for one of them, one of these platforms to allow you to add an overlay. As soon as you could do that, then you could almost ditch using a PC to stream with.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing I'm waiting on.
You know what I'm waiting on?
What are you waiting on?
The fact that it's 11:30.
Yeah. That's a hint from Juan.
The subtlety was never really my thing.
Yeah, no, it really isn't.
I love that game. It really needs to go PC enhanced.
That would be incredible to enhance.
Well, they were talking to Sega. There's hope.
We need another Contra.
Yeah, that'd be all right. I kind of view Cuphead as the modern Contra.
That's fair.
Go north and south.
Each time you add another game, the video plays fast and fast.
I still love that game. It's a ridiculous grind, but I love that game.
All right. Dun, 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 dun.
Yep. I think it's an actual classic.
When you are ready.
Yeah, go ahead and hit it. This one's got several minutes of video, so we can we can get it going for sure. But yeah, this week's retro recommendation is circa 1995 on the Sony PlayStation. It is the classic 3D fighter entry to the series for Tekken. That's a longtime favorite of mine. Owned it for my PS1. Played the series religiously with the barracks mates and the Marines, and had tournaments and all that. Great characters, great animation for its day. Obviously, early 3D polygons only hold up so well visually, as we'll see, but still an enjoyable play. Developed by and published by Namco, who was founded in 1955 as Nakamura Seisakuso. They started out running children's rides on the roof of a department store in Yokohama. Here we see my girl Nina going at it. One of the first characters to have grapples, combo grapples, kind of a new thing for the genre even. But in 1959, they changed their name to Nakamura Manufacturing Company, NMC, eventually become Namco. They purchased a struggling Atari Japan in 1974 for $800,000, which was considered like a really crazy move. People thought they had gone mad. But it actually led to them being able to license and do some things that led to them being one of the leaders in the golden age of arcades. Galaxy was the first arcade game with RGB color, but of course Pac-Man really is what put them on the map and became a cultural icon. Galaga, my first game, was a sequel to Galaxian and was one of the most successful sequels of the era. Of course, Dig Dug and Pole Position were also extremely successful for them back then. In 2006, they absorbed their sister company Bandai and renamed to Bandai Namco Entertainment, famous for Ridge Racer, Ace Combat, and the Soul Blade Caliber series, and of course, obviously. The game is a single and two-player fighting game, 3D fighter, one of the second ones on the market. Players choose characters from the lineup, engage in hand-to-hand combat. Generally, by default, there are 2 rounds of combat, but that's adjustable between 1 and 5, as well as options for the time limit. Here we see Nina taking on Heihachi Mishima, the kind of boss character of the game. The rapid fire. The character with the most health wins, or if somehow it's a draw. Unlike contemporary fighting games, Tekken gives direct control of each fighter's limbs. So you have a right, left punch, and a right kick, as opposed to a strong spear kick. Special grapples via specific direction and up input. Most move back and forth moves or quarter or half circle motions, kind of like a Street Fighter. You don't really see the charged direction where you would hold a direction and move the other way for moves in this game. Every character also has a 10-hit string combo that can be interrupted or thrown out of, and also a unblockable attack, which is kind of like a charging attack in that it takes a long time to build, but it doesn't actually use a charging control mechanism. You enter the input and you just wait for it to strike. The opponent either has to get the hell out of the way or punch quickly to interrupt it because it does some pretty big damage and can't be blocked. All of the game locations were representations of real world. We'll get back to that in just a heartbeat here because we got Nina's cutscene. Aged, obviously, but were kind of big, especially for home use in the day. And it had Nina and her rival, Anna, or her sister, giving her a little bit of the high hand there to the face because she was being yelled at about the shoe, and turns out she actually had it. She's being a little bit of a trickster. So, move on to another character here. We got another favorite of mine, King, who got a lot more complex in later games. He doesn't have his combo grapples here, which were, the weapon of choice in my barracks matches, and I would just make people weep and gnash their teeth and cry out in anger at being caught in death loops of ridiculous grapples of doom from King. But yeah, he's still really powerful here. A lot of powerful throws and a couple of combos like everyone else. But the locations, as we're talking about, are all real-world locations or representations of real-world locations, which isn't true later in the series. But yet, Chicago and Monument Valley in the USA, Windermere in Great Britain, Angkor Wat, which is where we'll see a couple times because it's Heihachi's stage, Szechuan in China, Fuji on the island of Fuji, Italy, the Acropolis in Greece, King's George Island in Antarctica, and Kyoto and the Chiba Marine Stadium in Japan, which is the best soundtrack track. The stadium track is the best one on the disc, in my opinion. The PlayStation version advanced from the arcade in that it has 17 playable characters, 8 of which are unlocked at the start, which are the 8 from the arcade game. You've got Jack, the robotic super soldier, created by Mishima to keep Kazuya, his son, from winning the King of Iron Fist tournament. You've got Kazuya himself, who's kind of the protagonist of the story and son of the villain Heihachi Mishima. You got King, which we're looking at here. He's a former orphan participating in the King of the Iron Fist to raise money for an orphanage that he is part of. Martial Law, which is the one that kind of looks like Bruce Lee. He's a chef down on his financial luck, and he's entered the tournament, because he's a martial artist, for the money to open up restaurants. Paul Phoenix is a biker and judo practitioner who basically just enters for the money and to prove that he's the best fighter. Michelle Chang is a woman of Chinese and Native American descent. Her father was killed by Heihachi, so she's in the tournament for revenge. Nina Williams, who we saw earlier, is a cold-blooded Irish assassin hired to kill Heihachi, and that's why she's joined the tournament. And Yoshimitsu, who's a Manji ninja, master swordsman. He enters the tournament as a decoy so that his clan can raid the Mishima Zaibatsu and steal funds. But every character has a sub-boss character, which you fight in the 8th round before fighting Heihachi. Here we're seeing King's ending. After defeating Heihachi and winning the tournament, he takes the money to the missionary, or the mission, the orphanage, and the kids run out. And it's kind of creepy to see weird-looking King and little actual FMV kids. It's a little jarring, but kind of unique. So that's cool. That's a happy ending. And then we're on to Kazuya, which is the last character I had it for the video here, but anyway, every character has their own sub-boss character that they fight before Heihachi, and they're mostly clones of the characters, and they generally possess most of the same moveset, with a few exclusive attacks. So here we're seeing Kazuya with his sub-boss, Lee, who was the adopted son of Heihachi after Heihachi threw Kazuya off a cliff at 5 years old to see if he would survive and become strong. It's, Japan. But this is the guy that he raised in his place as his son and trained in martial arts and is the sub-boss for Kazuya to defeat on the way to fight his father. But you've got the Armor King for King, you've got Anna for Nina, you've got Prototype Jack for Jack. They all have their sub-bosses, and when you finish the game, that unlocks the sub-boss to play in single player. And then the last character is Devil, which is kind of like Kazuya with wings, and he has a laser ability as well. But that's actually unlocked via completing the Galaga minigame that plays as the disc loads. And it's kind of like one of the challenge sections. And there's the cheat code for that, where you can start with 2 ships, which helps out with unlocking Devil. But that's how you get Devil, which was only available on the home game. He wasn't actually arcade. Tekken was not originally planned to be a fighting game. It started as a project and a test case for animating 3D character models. Eventually, they wanted to test incorporating texture mapping, similar to Namco's game the previous year, 93 Ridge Racer. In 94, Namco acquired developers from Sega who had actually worked on the first 3D fighting game, Virtua Fighter, and so they decided to make a competing game that would distinguish itself from Virtua Fighter by doubling the frame rate and having more detailed textures. And originally it was entitled Rave War, and that eventually became Tekken. So here we see Kazuya fought his way through the King of the Iron Fist, and he defeated his father, and the irony is that now he's going to throw his father off the cliff like he got thrown off when he was 5. And so that sets up the whole rivalry between them for the next however many games. Ending at the smile, because that's not twisted or anything. But other little detail about the development of the game is that it was developed on Namco's System 11 board for the arcades, which was based actually on raw PlayStation hardware, so it made it a very easy game to port. It was very well received by critics. Edge opined that it lacked the visual allure of Virtua Fighter 2, but matched its animation quality and playability. GamePro called it one of the best arcade-to-home translations ever, and praised the lack of ring-outs and its impressive controls, stating it was much better than Battle Arena Toshinden, which I actually also loved. It was a bestseller in the UK. Tekken was actually the first PlayStation game to sell over 1 million units. Well, historical factoid there for you, fun fact. It's readily available now on eBay between $20 to $40 for the, depending on condition, for a long box version. If you want one of the value series or a jewel case CD type cases, those are usually from teens, $12. I think I found mine. I have a long box. I found it at a secondhand reseller for a little less than $20. But if you're building a collection of PlayStation 1 games, you got to have it. It's the granddaddy. I think it's actually superseded by 2. A lot of the characters there's more characters, and there's a little more finesse, a little more details in the mechanics. But it's a classic, and you got to have it.
All right, the classic, and you got to have it.
Yep, it's a great game. I mean, I enjoy playing it today.
Except it's not Virtua Fighter, but okay. All right. Nicely done, sir. As always.
Yep, much appreciated.
Yep. All right. So, as it is 11:43, we will we'll get out of here pretty quickly. Anybody else have anything of note? Nathan? Anything? Nathan?
He concurred with today's selection of the retro reg. So.
Fisher.
Nice.
Fisher. All right. So, as always, thanks to the chat room for hanging out with us. I did not get a chance to play in the chat as much as I wanted to. But see, Fastback says it's only 10:43 there. Come on, we got another couple hours in.
Not me, dude.
So, thank you guys, of course, as always. Let us know, like I said, what you guys think of our new look. Well, our semi-new look. What you thought of how the videos looked, how the live stream looked, and we'll use that going forward for various things. Nothing else?
Said we have a semi.
Yes, you know. Anything else from you guys?
No.
All right. Hearing.
I'm gonna have Tekken 7 to my backlog next week.
There you go.
Right.
So, all right. Next week we'll be a little more focus centric on some of our other new hopeful segments and less on other things and 45-minute arguments about studios.
Yay!
Yay! That's all right. Every once in a while, I love revving you up a little bit there, Juan. So makes for a good show. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget, we are on live 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Sunday nights if you are watching us later on. Don't forget to join us in the live chat. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. The Twitter accounts are up in the upper right corners. All of our Twitter accounts are down here. And without further ado, we're going to get the hell out of here. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week. Play on, gamers.
Peace out.
Bye.
As soon as I find where the damn... Hang on. Hang on! Okay, now we're really getting out.
All right.